What's going on, guys? Dare here with Fantasy Football Advice, coming at you with another fantasy football video. Today, we got a good one for you. This one is a bit different. We're not going too deep into individual player breakdowns, but as you read in the title and saw the thumbnail, we are going over the biggest value pick in each round. This is actually a video that we did release earlier on in this offseason, but with ADPs constantly changing, our rankings also constantly changing, it's about time that we go ahead and revisit this video. Before we do get into the video though, just a quick shout out and reminder that we're posting 11 videos per week, guys. If you do enjoy the content we're putting out and want to show your support, the best way to do that is by hitting that like button. It only takes a moment for you, but greatly helps us out in growing the channel. As you know, we are on the road to 100k subscribers. Our goal is to reach that by the start of the NFL season, and with all of your help, we definitely can make that a reality. So if you guys do enjoy, how about hitting that like button? If you're new, maybe you haven't yet subscribed, consider doing that today. Also, guys, be advised, our draft packages are available now. If you want to gain access to our tier-based rankings, player projections, risk ratings, sleepers, targets, busts, video player breakdowns on all draftable players, access to our private Discord community group, and more, consider signing up at our website, thefantasyfootballadvice.com. The link for that, as always, in the description box below. With all of that being said though, it's time to move over to our stat of the day. Yesterday's stat of the day was 3 players had at least 4 touchdowns in a single game last season. Those players were Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, and which player was the third? The correct answer was actually Chase Claypool. Congratulations to Connor McLeod, the first to get this right on YouTube, and as for Twitter, at the Lord of Meese. Once again, congratulations to both of you. But as for today's stat of the day, 2 quarterbacks threw at least 4 interceptions in a game last season. Drew Lock was one of them, which was the other player. Once again, that's 2 quarterbacks last season threw at least 4 interceptions in a single game. Drew Lock was one of them, which was the other quarterback. Leave your answer in the comment section down below. We'll be happy to let you know who wins in tomorrow's video. Alright guys, without further ado, let's hop right into the video, and up on your screen I do have listed the top 12 players ranked by current ADP based on Fantasy Pros. That is of course going to be the ADP I'm using in this video. You could make a case for using Underdog's ADP, but with it being a best ball format and me going through the first 5 rounds, as we get deeper into the draft, you'll notice differences in player values just based on it being a best ball format. I did decide to move forward with Fantasy Pros ADP, and up on your screen you have the first round in the top 12 players. Pretty straightforward stuff here, starting off the list with Christian McCaffrey into Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley. We see Ezekiel Elliott, a player who's definitely moved up as of late, followed by Jonathan Taylor, our first wide receiver off the board, Tyreek Hill, and then rounding out the final 4 players with Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and Aaron Jones. When bouncing these 12 players up against our rankings and trying to identify which player is actually the best value, the reality is when it comes to these players listed in the top 12, none of these players is coming in at an immense value over the next. The last time that we did this video, we actually had Devontae Adams coming in at the greatest value over all first round players, but with the unclear situation with Aaron Rodgers, whether he's going to be returning or not, Devontae Adams is no longer listed as the top receiving target. His place has since been taken over by Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, though, we don't have ranked as high as we had Devontae Adams ranked, so when comparing which player is the greatest value in the first round, the differences between each player is so negligible that one really doesn't stand out much over the next. Fear not though, guys, in the second round there are plenty of players that are competing for the best value pick in that round. That's where we really begin to open things up, so let's not waste any more time on this first round and jump right into the second. Up on your screen you're going to see players 13 through 24. This is going to consist of the entire second round. Up at the top you'll notice the first tight end off the board, the only tight end in the second round, Travis Kelce. Behind him you have DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Austin Eckler, Cam Akers, DK Metcalf, Joe Mixon, AJ Brown, and rounding out the second round is Antonio Gibson, Justin Jefferson, Najee Harris, and Michael Thomas. I will tell you right off the bat that there were 3 players actually competing for the best value pick in this round. I'm interested to hear what your guess would be for those top 3 players. I'll start with the obvious choice, but it is going to be an honorable mention because he actually didn't win, and this player of course is Travis Kelce. It's undeniable that a draft pick for Travis Kelce is going to give its owner an immense positional advantage over his opponents. Travis Kelce could have stopped playing in week 11 and still finished as the tight end 2 last season. For that reason, I couldn't fault anybody for drafting Travis Kelce in the first round. That's actually where we have him ranked. And when determining which players are coming in at the best value, what we did is we took their ADP, bounced it against where we currently have them ranked, and identified which players come in with the greatest discrepancy. We have Travis Kelce ranked as the 8th overall player off the board, 5 spots higher than his current ADP, so if you were able to land him where his draft day price tag currently is, you're definitely getting a good value value, but that's not to say he's the best value in the second round. The two greatest values outside of Travis Kelce definitely come down to Cam Akers and Najee Harris. Cam Akers we have ranked 8 spots higher than his current ADP, coming in as the 9th overall player off of our board. We've broken down Cam Akers in many videos, letting you guys know exactly why we love him so much. He's tied to a great offense. He has all the makings of a workhorse. Not only does the team have a great offense, but they also have a very solid defense, likely leading to increased rushing production in the later half of games. There is just so much to like about this player. It's a reason why we've included him in our must-own running back video. And if anyone were to be able to get him as the 17th player off the board, I think you're getting a phenomenal value. The winner, though, of the value contest in the second round definitely has to be Najee Harris, though. I didn't want to only include Najee Harris, although he was the sole winner. Reason being was Najee Harris was also the winner the last time we did this video in the second round. And no, I'm not trying to downplay exactly how great of a value we believe he is. Similarly to Cam Akers, he is a workhorse type of running back in line for a massive volume total. The Steelers' offensive line is not all that great, but with Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and Juju Smith-Schuster lining up at the wide receiver position, it will force these defenses to be honest. So I do believe Najee Harris will have plenty of opportunities to succeed, and one thing that we do know for sure is that he is in line for a massive amount of volume. In fantasy football, volume is king, and when it comes to second round value, Najee Harris is king. But let's move into the third round. And up on your screen, you're going to see players 25 through 36. Up top, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, followed by Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Patrick Mahomes, the first quarterback off the board, Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller, the second tight end off the board, followed by the third tight end, George Kittle. In rounding out the third round, we have DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Carson, Miles Sanders, and David Montgomery. There are actually two players that are competing neck and neck for the greatest values in this round. One player we have ranked 9 spots above their ADP. The other player we have ranked 10 spots above their ADP. And for those of you who have been following our value pick videos, you've also been watching the mock drafts, I think you can easily identify which two players they are. And if you chose David Montgomery as well as Darren Waller, then you are correct. The greatest value definitely falls with Darren Waller, who we have ranked as the 20th player off the board. As you can see, he currently is coming off the board as the 30th player based on ADP. And when it comes to Darren Waller, a true difference maker at the position, he's one of the few tight ends in the entire league that can compete with Travis Kelce tit for tat. We of course already said we can't fault you for drafting Travis Kelce in the first round, so for Darren Waller to come off the board 2 rounds later, and with him being able to put up very similar production to Travis Kelce, then you can understand exactly how great of a value he really is. We also can't forget though about David Montgomery, a player that once again is being undervalued for the 2021 season. Last year he was being severely undervalued, finished as the RB4, and while we are seeing his ADP climb slowly, he is now the RB19. If you're able to draft him anywhere near his current ADP, you're definitely getting yourself a great value. It appears almost as if you're drafting him at his floor, leaving a ton of room open for upside. We feel strongly that even if the team moves forward with Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback, it's not going to be a massive downgrade over what they had last season, and with them bringing back many of their other weapons offensively, like Allen Robinson, who signed a new contract, David Montgomery should have no problem whatsoever at smashing his current ADP and definitely has the ability to exceed it and potentially be a top 12 running back. With that said though, it's time to hop over to the fourth round, and up on your screen you're going to see players 37 through 48. Up at the top we have Amari Cooper, followed by Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, CeeDee Lamb, Julio Jones, Robert Woods, Josh Jacobs, DJ Moore, and rounding out the fourth round we have Josh Allen, Myles Gaskin, Kareem Hunt, and Mike Davis. I can tell you without a doubt that across all 5 rounds that we reviewed in this video when we bounced ADP versus our rankings, the hardest one to extract massive value in was definitely the 4th round. What I mean by that is a lot of the players that have a 4th round ADP, we also have a 4th round ranking on them. So finding players that are massive values in this 4th round out of the 12 players listed above was not so easy, but there was still one lone player that did come in at a better value than the rest. I believe this one may be a bit surprising to most of you out there, but it's actually CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys. Don't get it mistaken though, we're not talking about a massive value here. CeeDee Lamb is actually only being drafted 3 spots lower than where we have him ranked, but believe it or not, when compared to the other players listed within this top 12, 3 spots was actually enough to win it. I know a lot of you are looking at the name Robert Woods and wondering where did he fit in. He was actually only being drafted 2 spots lower than where we have him ranked, so just missed out on that one there. Big shout out to him though, he's definitely one of our favorite players to draft in this range as well. But when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, basically the opposite of a player like Robert Robert Woods, where we're not really sure what type of volume numbers we can expect from him, but one thing is for sure, the talent is all there. All reports coming out of Dallas camp is that Dak Prescott is slated to return healthy. CeeDee Lamb, in just his rookie season, playing alongside Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, was able to finish as the wide receiver 22, and that was on an offense without Dak Prescott for the majority of the season, playing with at best Andy Dalton at quarterback. Imagine a full season with Dak Prescott. We wouldn't be surprised if he's competing or possibly surpassing Amari Cooper by the end of the season if we're talking sheer production. So if you're looking to extract some value in the 4th round and you're looking for an upside player like CeeDee Lamb, he's definitely a player that can hit that mark for you while also providing your team some value. Alright guys, we're moving into the 5th and final round of this video. You'll notice that the 12 players remaining still have plenty of upside. These are high quality level starters. We have Adam Thielen, followed by Cooper Kupp, Travis Etienne, Deontay Johnson, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, Kyler Murray, Kenny Golladay, and rounding out the 5th round is Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Tyler Lockett, and Kyle Pitts. If you've been following our content throughout this offseason while also using process of elimination, I strongly believe you guys could figure out exactly which player we have listed as the best value in this round. 6 of these 12 players is either a quarterback or a tight end, so we can eliminate them. 2 of the remaining 6 players are on our do not draft list, leaving 4 players left, and only one of those 4 players is actually listed as a target in our draft package. That player is of course coming in at the best value, and the player I'm talking about of course is Deontay Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson has a legitimate shot to compete with the league leaders when it comes to targets. Last season, and what was just his sophomore season, he finished the year with 144 targets, converting that into 88 receptions, 923 yards to go along with 7 touchdowns. That was good for a wide receiver 21 finish. In looking over at his positional ADP, he's coming in as the wide receiver 22. We have him ranked as the wide receiver 19, so definitely plenty of value to extract from him. He's definitely one of the few receivers in this range that I feel comes in with a certain level of safety, but also brings in that upside as well. You know me, I'm a sucker for volume, and when it comes to Deontay Johnson, volume is something you can guarantee. His volume is what's going to bring in his safety factor, but the upside's definitely going to come in if he can improve his efficiency. Whenever a player is receiving 144 targets, you definitely expect them to put up more receiving yards than 923. He's young though, he's learning, and he's in a prime position to succeed for the 2021 season, so if I'm in the 5th round and I'm looking for upside, value, and safety, Deontay Johnson is one of those rare players that brings in the entire package. I would like to take a moment just to summarize all of the rounds we went over, starting with the 1st round where we determined that there really wasn't much value we could extract player versus player. But moving into the 2nd round, there were 3 players that were heavily competing to be the greatest value in that round. We had Travis Kelce, an honorable mention, but the 2 winners were definitely Cam Akers as well as Najee Harris. Najee Harris did slightly take the cake, but both players are immense values where they're currently going based upon ADP. And fast forward over to the 3rd round, some of my favorite value picks in this entire draft. We have Darren Waller, a player that can compete with Travis Kelce, but you're getting a 2-round draft discount. And while Darren Waller was the greatest value in the 3rd round, we still have to give a massive shout out to David Montgomery, who is just 1 spot behind him. Montgomery paid dividends for fantasy owners last year, carrying many to the fantasy championships. Heading into this season though, he's being massively undervalued, and you guys should definitely take advantage of that. The 4th round was by far the hardest round to extract value in. We did find one player that did edge out the rest, and no, it wasn't Robert Woods. It was actually a player who may be a bit more surprising. It was CeeDee Lamb. Many people may be afraid to invest a high draft pick into CeeDee Lamb just due to the fact that he's not quote unquote the wide receiver 1 in his offense. Me personally, I believe this season over any season recently, we should feel more comfortable in taking shots at wide receiver if we're shooting for upside. The wide receiver position is as deep as it ever has been, so our ability to endure bust will be able to make up for any shots we miss when trying to shoot for that maximum upside. Then rounding out the 5th round, there was one player that stuck out across the rest. Using process of elimination, it was pretty easy to see, but this player stuck out like a sore thumb. That was Deontay Johnson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson heads into the 2021 season with one of the rare packages that includes both safety and upside as well as value. With the historical statistics showing that the bust rate in the 5th round and beyond is extremely high, finding a player like Deontay Johnson, who I believe is a very safe pick to take in the 5th round, being able to also get him at a value is something that we don't get every season and should definitely take advantage of. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. We really hoped you enjoyed. If you did, how about hitting that like button? If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.